How's it going, everybody? That's very strange. My soundbite was supposed to be Mario, and it was not. It's very strange. Try again? Nope, still Millhouse. Alright, well, whatever. We're going to leave that alone and figure that out another time. Hey, how's it going, everybody? I am BirdDogJon. Thank you for joining me on BirdDog Live. It has been a busy week. I've actually been under the weather for a few days, and so that's been a challenge. Like 25 seconds out, I realized I don't have my headphones. I don't have a clue where they are. And so we're trying this just through my normal monitors. So really sorry if the audio is brutal. It is what it is. I'm going to turn this music down a bit, and we're going to go for it. I got my Restream stuff open here. I posted online that it was on Twitch today, which is true, but it's also going to my other personal platforms. So if you're joining us on YouTube or on Facebook, welcome to BirdDog Live. This is basically, I mean, in one sense, it's a BirdDog support channel. In another sense, it's like we talk about all sorts of stuff in terms of cameras and like actually doing streaming and how people are achieving this. BirdDog provides a bunch of ways to do that, but we talk about equipment, we talk about software, we talk about computer specs, we talk about network requirements and ideas about how to deploy NDI or how to do your stream. We talk about some of the real world stuff that I do, help kind of launch the stream for a congregation in Rochester in Michigan. And so I've have some like hands-on experience with using BirdDog stuff in a live environment, also using a keyboard, a BirdDog keyboard. And then we can talk about cameras, and we can talk about, what you use for a game stream versus what you would use for a broadcast stream, why you might choose something different. It also varies based on where you're located. So if you are, in Europe, that's one thing. If you're in Australia, that's something different. If you're here in the US, we have different standards as well, and it really depends on where your market is. One of the problems that people get into when they stream is they don't define who the stream is for. They do something where they paint with a really broad brush, and they say something like, well, this is for everybody. And there are certain elements of your broadcast that will be for everybody, but in general, usually there's a targeted audience, and it helps you to define that a little bit. So if you can do that, if you can figure out who is supposed to be watching your stream, then you can really produce some content that's really valuable to those individuals, and then grow that base. And then as things get more popular, you can bring on other elements. But to begin with, typically we just talk about, how that's done. So we can talk a little bit about that. So there's lots to go on. If none of that stuff is interesting at all, we can talk about the actual BirdDog product line. Everything from converters, which I prefer calling encoders or decoders because that's what they are. This is a flex unit. There are minis and studios all around my office here. Here we go. So if you're new to BirdDog and you don't know what we make or what we do, we build actual products. We manufacture products that convert video into network data. So that's what NDI is. And that NDI protocol was designed and made available by NewTek. So they're a company, they're a global company now, but their team developed NDI and then made the protocol available for people to begin, using it in their cameras. The HX version is a software version of development, and then the full NDI requires its own hardware to do, and that's what BirdDog does. We produce our own hardware. This is the flagship. This is the studio. It's been around for, I think, 4 years now. But it has pretty much been what we've built our reputation on is actually this encoder or decoder, however you have it set up. And then the most recent launch of encoder is Flex, and so that is HDMI exclusive right now, and it's PoE PoE or just straight PoE? Gosh. Okay, so I've been under the weather for a few days, so my brain is a little foggy, so you'll have to forgive me. Anyways, it is PoE Plus because it has 15 watts available at max for the DC out port that's on here. So you can technically, charge a camera with it if you wanted. And then the other item that we have, it's attached here. Let me just disconnect it real quick and then I can show you. Is there will be one Flex. This is Flex In, which is an encoder. This is Backpack. Backpack has, it's the same price, but it has a little option to actually use it in the universal mount, and so that is super handy. And then it can also power in it on the contacts. It can power like a Ninja V or a few other items. Several cameras have been tested. As long as it doesn't draw more than 15 watts, you're good. So that's pretty fun, and I use that every day here in my office on a Ninja V. Usually sits on top of this camera. It's kind of been disconnected this week, but it's been pretty good. What is going on, Nathan, on YouTube? How's it going? Nice to see ya. I am monitoring all the chats, so if you want to send me a message or whatever, let me know. Let me know where you're at. Got my coffee. I've had several cups of coffee, so I don't think I'm going to get any more awake than I am right now, which might be unfortunate for you, but it is what it is. So here we go. One of the cool things, though, is obviously our camera lineup, right? So our cameras are PTZ cameras, and there's one over my shoulder that's like our little R2 unit. That is the A300. That's kind of like the indestructible big one. That's a little bit expensive, but really has some really cool features and is in some really pretty awesome installations right now. So you can pretty much take a baseball bat to it and it'll put up with your abuse. Obviously that's not its primary function, but it is designed to go into places where you otherwise couldn't put just a regular PTZ. It has weatherproof housing and has a gas-filled chamber for the lens so it doesn't fog up. Has a laser on board for autofocus and a bunch of other things. So that little A300, it's not little, it's the biggest camera we have right now, is the top end of the 1080p realm. Then there is the A200, which is what I call the speedball. It's a 360-degree camera that can turn around 360 degrees. It's not a 360 camera, but it can turn around in 360 degrees so that you can hang it off a pole or something like that and get shots anyway. And we have several of those installed in sports arenas and places that are doing like news and traffic and watching political buildings and a bunch of stuff. So it's really cool. Those are being shipped all around the world and being used for all sorts of stuff. So really fun there. And then obviously the flagship PTZ that we came out with just about a year ago, which I can't believe was a year ago, is the P200, which is the one that you're going to see the most conversations about, because the P200 is the entry-level broadcast camera that is pretty much available worldwide and is really more affordable than the other options on the market. So if you're getting into NDI, you can get into the full NDI game, which is like the real deal, high horsepower, high performance, for pretty much the same price as any other NDI camera, which is not in full NDI right now. So let me grab a P200 here real quick. I'm actually going to get the white P200. They come in black and white. This one is a little bit more rare, but this little guy is, like I said, you could tell like the base of my hand can basically fit. Let me try and get that in focus for you. It can sit on that. This can be mounted vertically or upside down if you need to. Right side up, upside down. You can flip the module inside. You can mirror the module if you need to, depending on whatever your installation situation is. And then on the back, I guess I should show you this too. On the back of this, we have your standard NDI IP connection. This is PoE plus 30 watts. It needs to be PoE plus, and be really careful about green Ethernet because that's not your friend. You're building a high performance environment here, so be sure that you're running PoE plus. RS232 and 422 are the other two ports next to it, and then you have HDMI out if you want HDMI out, SDI out, which is over here. I'm not used to my backwards thing here. SDI out, which is here, and then you have your audio jacks, which is audio in and out if you want to do embedded audio with a powered microphone. So lots of cool options there. The idea behind the camera line is that we want you just to have to connect one cable to the camera, PoE plus, and you're up and running. It's connected to your subnet and off you go. Lots of details to talk about if you're designing this out or you're getting an idea that you want to maybe give this a try. There's some network stuff that you need to probably discuss and figure out and make sure that you're on board. But for the most part, it works fairly well out of the box, and as long as you're not overcomplicating things, you're in pretty good shape. The last one is the last one in the 1080p realm is the P100, which I actually have one on a stand. This one is actually fully functional. But the P100 is basically the little brother of the P200. It's a smaller lens than the other three cameras. The other three cameras all have the same lens inside. But the P100 is more of a desktop option when it comes to full NDI. We have a lot of installations with like conference rooms, with lecture halls, with just even with like Zoom rooms and stuff like that, where people are using the P100. And the thing that they really like about it is you are able to have this high-powered sensor with a USB plug-in so that you can plug it into your computer and use it as a USB camera. Now, I don't know of any way to actually control the PTZ over USB yet, but if you wanted to have this camera and you have a place to hang it up in the conference room and you use it to live stream conferences or meetings or something like that, and then you want to just unclip it, with like a quick release and stand it on your office desk and plug it in via USB, then you can use this in Zoom and you can use it in Hangouts and all that sort of good stuff too. So P100, also full PTZ motor. It has a threaded base just like the P200 that allows you to put it on a tripod, which is what mine sits on normally. It's sitting on the carpet right now because there's a few other cameras in my office, but in general, it stands on a stand above my monitors and it has a second angle. Okay. Now, there's a couple other cameras in the lineup. The P400, which is rolling off the manufacturer line right now and should be at retailers this month. So it's October 1st, right? So this month you should be seeing those arriving, and that is really exciting because the P400 is the P200 form factor with a 4K sensor. And so not only are we going to have a lot more color control, but we're also going to have the same small form factor as the P200. We're not compromising on space needed. This is helpful for people who are running things around in freight cases and that sort of thing, but also you get a lot more detail in a 4K sensor, which means that if the rest of your fleet is 1080, you can do a fair bit more, even in terms of like zoom and that sort of thing. Now, there is a difference in optical lenses between the P200 and the P400. The 200 has a 30 times optical, whereas the P400 has a 20 times optical. But you're making up for that with the amount of detail that you're getting inside the picture. So if you were to zoom in at 30 times on the P200, that is flat out only 1080p. If you're to zoom in at 20 times on the 4K, that is flat out 4K. But if you wanted to go closer than that, technically you could, because you could crop the image down to a 1080 image and get it a lot closer without compromising on the picture. So that's pretty cool. So like when you read those stats on paper, don't think they're apples to oranges necessarily, because they're totally different sensors. So hey, Beep Chirp, can't have all hands down me. Oh, cool. Well, hopefully it's not too much of an emergency, but thanks for stopping by and chiming in. I appreciate that. I got my coffee, and I'm running through camera line right now, so I think I'm all right. Okay, so the last one that I'm really excited about is the P4K. And the reason why I'm really excited about it is because I actually have one here, and I'm not using it today, but this is actually one that's pre-production. It looks exactly like a post-production model, but it's actually a pre-production model, and this thing is so crazy. So it's a 4K camera, and even it comes with a lens cover with our logo on it. Has tally lights all the way around. It is a genuine 4K camera. These are 6G out SDI ports, along with there's a Genlock port, and there are two 6G or 3G SDI. You have to change them in the OSD right now, but you can send it out 6G or 3G if you want. There is HDMI out, which is your main, just like on the P200. HDMI out. There's RS232, RS422, the NDI port that's in here. That's obviously how you're going to power this thing. Now, there's a PoE difference here where this guy is going to require a fair bit more power to handle it. And so I don't have a switch that outputs that much power. I believe it's PoE max. Let me look. I haven't actually. Okay, the box is out in the hallway. So, how's it going, little Mac? How are you? Thanks for stopping by. Love it that you guys hang out. Whew. All right. Okay, so P4K has a 12 times optical lens. It has a 1-inch Sony sensor, so the thing is massive. Okay. It is massive. Like, this lens is inside some of like the crazy expensive Sony broadcast cameras. Same lens. It's not a huge, like, it's not as big obviously as the A300, right? A300 form factor is a lot bigger than the P4K, but power. Power consumption is 22 watts. Max power draw is 37.96 watts, which means PoE++ is required at 60 watts. But if you're in the market for purchasing a P4K or multiple P4Ks, buying the appropriate switch is probably not your problem. Making sure you have adequate throughput is probably the issue. So, anyway, lots to talk about there. The world is about to get a fair bit. Can you say something in chat? Sure. No problem. Anyway, so buying the correct switch is probably not the issue. But just give me 1 second. All right, sorry about that. Alrighty, so yeah, I can say whatever you need, Beep Chirp, no problem. Alrighty. Alright, I'm not going to answer tickets while I'm on air today. That's something I do all day, every day, and I don't want to do that during this segment. I do have a couple of meetings lined up here today with clients who need some support, so response time might be a little bit slower than normal, but thus is the life of a support guy. It is just basically every day it's something different, and we have to kind of work with it and get it going. So that is the job. Don't forget that we actually, if you're in Europe or if you're in Australia, there's actually an open call right now. We're hiring some support people who will work with me to cover support for the globe. And part of the issue is that I'm in the US on the Eastern time zone. So I'm great for like Europe as their day's finishing up. Like, let's see here. Over in London right now, it's 20 after 4 p.m. And so, like, technically it's still their work day, but if I start a couple hours ago, then they have basically 4 hours to work with me before they shut down. And so we would like to provide all day support over there, 9 to 5, so that when people send in tickets or whatever, they're able to get a hold of somebody that's live. So how well did you score on... I didn't take that quiz. So anyways, we're hiring a couple people to do that, and that'll be awesome. So one in Europe and one in Australia at the headquarters. So pretty excited that that's come together. I think that they're starting to look at applications here pretty soon, or maybe this week. So if you have any interest in that, or if you're looking for a job change, maybe check out the Facebook group. The posting is there, I believe, and we'll be able to get in touch with you. Submit your resume and put your best foot forward, and let us know why you're the person for the job. How well did you score on this quiz, John? I didn't take a quiz. Did you ask me to take a quiz? I don't recall taking a quiz, and I very rarely click on links that I'm not familiar with. Alrighty. Well, there's a few people hanging around. Appreciate you stopping by and hanging out with us. Lots going on, and just if you have any questions about products we make, or what it is that we do, or what I do, or who it is that I work for, just let me know. Send me a message. I'm watching all of the chats across all the platforms, and so feel free to shoot me a message, or just say, hey, I'd love to know that you're out there, that you're watching. That is always fun. It's always fun to find out. I had some people contact me after and be like, oh, hey, I stopped in and watched you for a few minutes. That's fun. You know, you never know who's out there, who's hanging around on Facebook and whatever. So it's fun to reconnect with people. Interesting that more people aren't doing live stuff, but hey, what's going on, Maritime? How are you? I feel like it's been a little while since you've been on here. My brain was like, oh wait, do they have a ticket in? Let's see. Closed. Okay. Closed. Okay. All your tickets are currently in closed states, so that gives me comfort. So this morning, yeah, we usually have shows during live stream, but we catch up after. Yep. For sure. And if you're just hanging out there on the wings and you're doing stuff right now and you can't chat, I totally get it. If you do have questions, please send them to help@bird-dog.tv, which is right here on the screen. help@bird-dog.tv. Don't send it to help@birddog.com or birddogs.com. Don't send it to support@bird-dog.tv or support@birddogs.com. None of those get to me. help@bird-dog.tv. That's the only way that you're going to reach support, or here on Twitch. We had somebody that went on social media a couple weeks ago, and they were like, supports, they never get back to you. I've had tickets in for weeks and they never respond, and yada yada, and they contact my bosses and the other stuff. And I said, can you let me know the ticket number? And they said, well, I didn't get a ticket number. I said, oh. I was like, can you check where you sent that email? Because I don't have any tickets from you. I'm not waiting to respond to anybody. Typically, unless it's like a really big, like in-depth ticket. Oh, and by the way, if you have like a ton of detail that you need to share with me, maybe request like a Zoom meeting or something, because some of these tickets that come in are just pages and pages of people's observations, and it's like this multi-complex network and design and all this stuff, and then they get to the end and they're like, okay, so here are my questions, and it's just like, I don't know how anybody's supposed to keep up with that, because it just gets so complex. And then if you get more than one of those a day, you're just totally spent. So we do Zoom meetings for support, as you just already heard me say today. I've got a couple already set up for today. I like to schedule those. I don't like doing them like instantly, because that doesn't work for me. There's always a backlog of tickets that I'm trying to get through every day, and so I have to put it on the schedule so that I know to make time for it, and I can kind of block off a section of the day to kind of work live with people, on their computers and networks and all that stuff. So we try and keep it a fair bit of order, but we're not shy of doing that. We'll do TeamViewer or Zoom or something like that, and like talk you through whatever's going on. And honestly, you get a lot more when you just talk through stuff. So I'm an introvert by nature. That's not my preferred method, is face-to-face, but I will do it because I know that how fast resolution happen, and it means that less tickets come in. So, but I won't resort to it as my first line of defense, mainly because there are a lot of tickets in the help desk. So I got to get to all of them. I got to start, really crank through them all. And if that's the case, I can't do Zoom meetings for everybody. So, with that being said, if you need to chat with me, feel free to jump on here. Our live chat is the best place to do that because I cut out 2 hours a week every week to chat with you guys and talk about stuff. And this is time for the client, so that's great. If you need a Zoom meeting, if things are pretty complex and you think you just need to walk me through it and explain how it's all set up, you can even show me with screen share and that sort of stuff. That's great. Otherwise, shoot me a ticket and I will try and get it answered. And if I can't answer it, I'll try and get it over to the development team who will be able to answer it, because there is at least one person that is an expert on every item that we have inside BirdDog. So, and that expert is not me necessarily. But the developers really know their products inside and out. So, and they're willing to jump in and help if they can. They are programmers, and so their diagnosis and thought process is not consumer level. It's fairly in depth. So we try and get as much as the problem cleared away before it gets to them. So, how's the Unify setup working for you? Does the multicast work for you? Well, that's a very interesting statement. My Unify network is not working, and it's quite perplexing. I spent the better part of Tuesday, after Tuesday's show, working on the gateway and the switches for my Unify network, and the current state of all of them is disconnected and not working. They're not connected to the controller. I have no idea what is going on, because in terms of troubleshooting and just even basic walking things through, I try to get the gateway online. It usually connects and provisions, and as soon as it's done provisioning, it disconnects, and I can't find it anywhere. So I'm halfway tempted to set up a new Unify account, go through the entire start over entirely, and then see if I can adopt it with that account, because something tells me that it's adopting it to an account that's really not connected to my controller somehow, and so it does provision it, does connect it, and then it gets registered to some other account, and that's it. So I've read through the forums, I've backpedaled on firmware, I've gone into Putty and actually done downgrades to things, and all of the units will show up and be available for adopt, and then when I hit adopt, they provision and then they disconnect. That's it. So I'm really disappointed, because it's supposed to be a lot more straightforward than that, and the other Unify networks that I have used and have installed have not been this complex. In terms of I don't know why it's not responding the way that it should. And I've pretty much exhausted all of the options that I can think of, other than creating a brand new user account, which sucks because... Well, hang on. Sorry, the logical part of my brain just kicked in. So If I go simplifying IT, oh, that's ironic. If I go to the, oh yes, factory reset a dozen times probably. So, no, crap. I typed in controller and it opened my Dante controller. That's what I get. Okay, close. All right. If I turn on the controller here on my desktop, I wonder if the network will appear on the web UI, the one that goes through network.unify.ui.com. If it does, then I wonder if I adopt the switches through there, if they're getting registered to this account somehow, but they're not showing up on my locally logged in account. Because I have like some of the other companies that I run networks for, I've just put like small businesses, I've put in Unify Networks and I have cloud keys with them. And they're online and running. Launch using cloud. Launch. This is a very interesting idea. Connection failed. Oh. Devices 3. Launch using the cloud. Connection failed. Interesting. Correct. I don't think that they can be in both places. Well, it's not that I'm registering it to 2 accounts. It's what account is it being registered to? That's the question. I'm pretty sure I only have the one. But it would appear that when I launch the portal and I turn on the controller, it loads the network. I guess I don't need this one. But it doesn't. It's almost as if there are like 2 accounts existing here. It's really bizarre. Can't be reached. Huh. Well, this is interesting. Launch using the IP. Connect. Zero of 2 switches connected. Currently disconnected. How do I get the WebRTC cloud to launch? That's a good question. Sorry, I know this is really thrilling for most of you, because that seems to be failing. $1332. All right, well, potentially all right, so check this out. So this is the desktop, right? This is inside my network. These are the 3 that I continually try and connect to, and they keep failing. Now, if I run cmd ipconfig and I query, okay, so I don't have anything on that network, so let's attach my fiber cable to that, and let's run query to get an IP address, and let's see if anything shows up inside. Oh, Unify switch 16xg available for adoption failed. I've never gotten that WebRTC to launch. I click the launch button. You click it on the controller, you mean? Nope. It's not there. Interesting. So it won't adopt. So what I could do here is I could quit this or forget this, I guess. Configure, custom settings, manage devices, forget, remove. I mean, technically I could do this with all of them because they're just all disconnected. But yeah, oh. And now we have a 169, the self-assigned address, because that's the fiber line I just plugged in. Okay, so pending adoption. Adoption failed. What is going on here? Adopting. Adoption failed. Seriously. Like, it's gotta be more intuitive than this, eh? Just not check your audio. Check your audio. Will do. Hang on one second. Checking right now. Whoops. Yep, audio's good. Maybe restart the stream. Let me jump over to Twitch. Let me see what we got here. Hang on. Come on, John, talk. Yep. Good and clean. Maybe restart the browser. See if that's working for you. Alrighty, here we go. 1000, 2, 1000, 3, 1000, 4, 1000, 5, 1000, 6, 1000, 7, 1000, 8, 1000, 9, 1000, 10, 1000. Finally, good golly. Alright. Let's see what we get. Seems like I have had that problem before. Audio is fine here. Okay, thanks, Berta. Waiting for this. Technology is so amazing when it decides to not work. Look, for the most part, I can troubleshoot things and get it working. What bugs me is this sort of stuff where the instructions clearly say factory, like when you take them out of the box, it says hold the factory reset button. So it wipes it clean, you put it in, you plug it into the network. She's flashing now, so she's in boot up. And I'm going to get rid of this. Options, manage, forget, remove. Let's just do all of them. Manage. It's like so confusing to me that forget. So confusing to me that it will provision, it'll go all the way through the process, and then right at the very end it says disconnected. It's been disconnected for, X amount of time. Pending adoption. I didn't factory reset this one. I factory reset the gateway. So let's hang on one second. All right. Let's see what happens. The other one should show up too, because all of these switches are just daisied together. They're not, there's nothing special. So when I plug in the fiber cable to this, actually this switch, they should all appear as available sources, but they do not. I think I found one problem. Here we go. Alrighty. On local controller, are they still provisioned? Maybe delete them there. This is local controller. Right? I'll go into the web UI. Well, I haven't been able to get the cloud to launch. No, you're good. I launch it with the WebRTC and it says connection failed. I launch it with unify.yourdomain.com and it fails. And then I launch it with the IP, and that seems to work. Now I will launch it with the... Seriously. What is okay, so here we go. Pending adoption. Adopt. This switch has been wiped, so... Seriously, what is the deal? All right. I'm going to go into my network, my user account settings, because I am the only super admin in this group. I don't know, this is bizarre. Seriously bizarre. I don't know how that's it. How is that possible? Is this the wrong inform URL? All right, let's try using 192.168.208.241, which is some other IP that's showing up. Advanced. Close this down. All right, this is the local IP. How that's possible, I don't know. Manage. Oops. Seriously, so stinking bizarre. I don't know how I'm failing at that adoption. The wrong password, maybe? Nope. Do I need this inform port? Nope. Seriously, how am I doing this wrong? All right. If anybody has any heads up as to what it is that I'm doing here, feel free to chime in, because good golly, Unify should not be this difficult. All right, let's forget this crap. Forget. No idea why. Oh, look, pending adoption. Wish we could help more. We do everything through the web portal. The web portal? I mean, I'm on there too. Yeah, that's one of the places I'm at. But it doesn't really give me too much to go on here. Oh. Weird. There's another self-assigned address. All right, this is turning into quite the problem. Everything I do, though, adoption failed. This was me all like most of Tuesday. Like, I don't understand what I'm doing wrong, because all right, let's try something else. All right. We're going to go WAN 1 over fiber, which means that 192.168.1.1. Whew! Just got a little dizzy there. Should be the network, but of course that's not going to work. Why? It's my understanding that you can't be connected to both local controller and cloud controller at the same time. Okay. I will sign out of the online controllers. Whoops. All right, let's go back. All right, here we go. Back to this one. Or this one. I don't care which one. Fail. I provision everything through the cloud. You're running a cloud key on... So you're running a cloud key on the device and then you're provisioning it through that? Because I don't have a cloud key, so I have to go through the back door for this. Pending adoption. Hang on. Maybe I'm not factory resetting this all the way. Okay. Here's a new sequence of lights. Yeah. Well, yeah, it changes purple, then it changes blue, and then when it's done, it goes white, right? I don't want it to say 192.168.1.20 because that has acquired an address from something. That should not be, that information should not be available yet. I want to just... Yeah. There's an error loading it. Yeah, I know. Okay, but it is back online. Good golly. Why? Why does it fail? I don't understand. What am I doing wrong? Huh. That is very fascinating to me. And I couldn't tell you. You know, the logical process and how to connect to a switch. I mean, like there's nothing else connected to it. Just my fiber port. I mean, maybe it's the fiber port, but I mean, I tried it with the Ethernet the other day. It didn't make any difference either. What's funny is it keeps seeing it. Like now it shows up pending adoption, but it still has the 1.20. Like why does it come back as 1.20? It shouldn't. The IP address should be not 1.20. And maybe the issue is that I'm not on the one domain. Beep chirp. Yay. Oh boy. Stand by. I'm hearing all sorts of craziness as I rejoin. I don't know what you're talking about. No idea what you're talking about. All right, so all right, now watch. I've gotten here before, so I've been muted this whole time. Open up to an unsupported underground. Am I opened up? Sorry, I'm BirdDog UG on Discord. You'll have to help me with some of this. Did I tell you guys that I was oh. Oh boy, look at that. She's actually online. Alright, wait for it. We all need to lobby Eamon to get you a Dream Machine Pro. All these problems go away. Oh, really? How do they all go away? No. Dream Machine is a train wreck and a tire fire. Here, for those of you watching at home, here is the great conundrum as a network guy when helping people get their network devices online. This is the great issue, is some people love it, some people hate it, some people swear by Cisco, some people swear by Unify, and you can't carry your biases into anything. You have to work with what they have, because if you do, oh my gosh, this is all adopting now. I disagree. We have Discovery service running with multicast, have not had a problem. State your case. Oh, whoops. Oh my gosh. I can't believe this is all coming online because of stupid IP address. You can't have multiple admins. Can you not? On a Dream Machine you can't? As soon as you need any type of customization that touches configuration.gateway.json, you are hosed because the UDM flat out doesn't support it. Keep it going, fellas. I'm listening. This is a very interesting conversation to me. Probably not to the rest of our viewers, but to me, it's interesting. And it's my show, so, you know. Also, you can't use a cloud-based controller, so good luck doing multi-site management. Also, I thought Dream Machine had cloud integrated. Was I wrong? Okay, so the Unify system is back, and it's because of Beep Chirp and Maritime Creative that we've walked through this. Gosh. Spent so much time trying to get this to work. UDM is a cloud key built in. That's single site. All right, so now here we go. Here, customize this. Cancel. Port 13. Oh. Wait, why are they all highlighted? That's not right. There we go. The editing of the JSON file is beyond my scope. What is the use case for editing the file? So you've managed to register your UDM as a device of the controller running elsewhere. I'm not talking about the cloud integration. Only through the cloud. Any type of customization of feature that isn't supported via the UI. Anything from SNMP monitoring to the security gateway itself. SNMP, the switches in the AP is doing things for routing protocols. So I run my controller on instance of EC2, for example, and I manage multiple sites, have site-to-site VPNs. Aggregate ports 13, 14, 15, 16. Apply. Alrighty, so now these ports should be aggregate. One, two, three, and oh, whoops. Crap. Please stand by. Wait a minute. Oh, because they are here, right? What is going on here? Cool. Cool. All right. Start to spin up the EC2 instance. Do you run those with vMix? I'm a little tech savvy. Some terms I am come to me and some go over my head. That's the beautiful thing about Google, my friend. Never again do you have to look uneducated. If you need an explanation in terms, call it. I'll try to explain. Running vMix on EC2? No, I run web servers and stuff on the cloud. I could send a RTMP stream from vMix up to an EC2, sure, but running vMix itself would be a train wreck. By the way, John, this right here is why a user group on Discord would be great. That's something that isn't Facebook. There's all sorts of streams on Reddit right now. I know that. Uh-oh. Look. Hold your breath, everybody. I built a live streaming PC for my church. Well done. There you go. Ah. Okay, so I must have lost connection to my... I must have lost connection to my 16 port. Because the 1650 watt PoE. Interesting. Alright, well this I'm pretty confident I can fix. If I could find the cables. When I was ripping everything apart, of course, it became a giant jumble. Anyway, whatevs. Interested in what you think. It would have been a trade. Okay, a couple of friends using it. They seem pretty happy. I believe they're sending and receiving SRT streams between a local vMix and an EC2 instance. Minister ordered all of the parts. They gave them to me, and then we put them together. Awesome. I'm missing like a bunch of jumper cables here. I have a bunch of patch cables that I use, and they are nowhere to be seen. Likely underneath all of this camera equipment. I'm gonna have to put a giant box together and ship it all back to Australia. Like once a year, I'm hoping. Amazon put together a guide that I would have been tracking, but show's got in the way. They put Amazon put a vMix, EC2 vMix guide together? This I've got to see. Oh, thanks. Huh. Had to mute again, one-to-one meeting. No problem. Maritime posted the vMix guide on EC2. That's interesting. Hey, thanks for hanging out with us today, folks. We're a little bit over. Actually, I've got a meeting at 12:30, so I can go for another 5-10 minutes. Let me talk to Eamon about this Discord channel, because we have a lot of these conversations going on a bunch of different platforms. And so, like, to be sure that we're managing it correctly, or if we just flat out say we're not managing this one. But it's hard to do that. It's hard to go either way, because one way you're basically like opening a channel for people to contact you, and another way you're opening a channel for like unmonitored conversation, and you know, people can really make that whatever they want, which is also not necessarily in the interest of, you know, the spirit of BirdDog. But anyway, it is what it is. All right, well, this gateway hang on one second. Be right back. Hold, please. Okay. think these need to be set to switch. And then I think this one, 13, these ones, yeah, these ones need to be aggregate. Profile overrides aggregate to 16. Apply. All right, so what's going to happen here is these four are going to turn into a single channel here. So one of the beefs is, so if you notice, this is only the 16 PoE 150, which is the previous generation, which is just straight up SFP, which is only a gig. Now we could do SFP 1 and 2 and daisy chain them together and get 2 gigs, or I could use the 4 copper channels on the 16XG and create a 4-link aggregate, and that way I get 4 gigs out of it instead of 2. So I would much rather do that. However, this is still provisioning. This is the uplink, it states. Then this one is, I'll have to wait for this to clear, I guess. So we'll wait. Make sure to enable port aggregation on the upstream switch after enable porting on this switch. Okay. Profile. Apply. Done. Oh. It didn't like that. Okay, it appears that they are working. I thought it was supposed to have this little up arrow for the uplink. Oh yeah, I got nothing plugged into the WAN either. Oh my word. Okay, everybody. Well, hey, thanks for helping me get my Unify stuff up and running. I apparently needed to set a static IP address. And now that this should be handing out IPs for clients, which I'm forcing it to do this one. And I'll plug other stuff in and see if they get IP addresses as well. I'll verify that. I'll be back on Tuesday. I'll let you guys know how that goes. Still thinking about that Discord channel. Honestly, I just hadn't had time to think it through. But it would be helpful, and then we could use this as a platform to push traffic towards it. So, or vice versa. So that'd be fun. Thank you so much, guys, for hanging out. I really appreciate you. Thank you for those of you who are over on other channels, Facebook, YouTube. Appreciate you guys hanging out over there. I got a couple of people around online, so it's been fun. Thanks for the conversation. Thanks for carrying it along here for the hour. Now it's into a meeting and then back to closing tickets for the end of the week. So hope you're doing well. Stay healthy out there. Hopefully on Tuesday I'll be back to 100%, and we will see you guys when we see you. So hopefully that will be on Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Cheers, guys. Take care of yourselves. We'll talk to you soon.